Okay, guys, and we're back with the Christmas in July. It's now August, Christmas in August album. And we are continuing on with decorating, and we're going to make, we've gotten bags 2, 4, 6, and 8 done, and the little bags on the bottom of the feet. And so now I'm going to put the cards here, and then we'll do the inserts, and that'll be it for today. So, I'm going to put a link in the chat for what paper collection this is, which is Simple Stories Digital Handmade Holiday. And I'm just going to get a link for it. I spelled it with hand. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to uninstall Paint Shop Pro because it keeps spamming my desktop with like an ad to buy Paint Shop Pro 2020, and it's infuriating. I'm going to uninstall it right now. So I installed Paint Shop Pro, and because someone recommended it, and I was like, well, let me see how it compares to Photoshop. And I hated it instantaneously. Now, a lot of this is just what you're used to. And so, you know, with Paint Shop Pro, it seemed like so many additional steps to do the same things that took less steps in Photoshop. And so, but this pop-up is like the last straw. Like, I don't even care that I spent money on it. I'm uninstalling it right now because this pop-up is so enraging. So I do not recommend Corel Paint Shop Pro. I continue to recommend Adobe Photoshop Elements. I don't care if you know nothing about either one, if Corel's easier to learn, because this pop-up is like, that's an instant unacceptable, cannot refuse to put up with this kind of a situation. So those are my thoughts on Paint Shop Pro. So if you guys like Paint Shop Pro, sorry, I tried. But, yeah, no way. Okay, so in the link, in the chat, I put the link to Handmade Holiday Digital Collection on Simple Stories. And it says, please log in or register. It's free, so you don't have to see the price. You do have to set up an account with them to see prices for things. But it doesn't cost any money to set up that account. Oh my gosh. The one thing though that's like infuriating is I just cannot remember for the life of me what my username is, because they make you set up a username when you join their website. And most websites, they just have you put in your email, so I'm always trying to put in my email, and then I'm like, oh, yeah, they don't want my email, they want... Okay, so the digital full collection is $13.99, and that includes the designer cardstock, the fundamentals, the expressions, the simple basics, all the elements, the snap cards. So it has everything ever made for Handmade Holiday, including the snap cards. So it's a really big collection for $13.99. Okay, so I've now removed Corel Paint Shop Pro and all of its associated whatever from my computer. So if I get that pop up again, I'm going to have to contact Corel and be like, what the heck, you jerks? What are you doing to my computer? So anyways, yeah, I tried like to see if I would like Corel better. And I did not like it at all. It was I found it very difficult to make collages of things. Very, very difficult to make collages of things. Okay, well, if it won't let you click the link, I have no idea why that is. You're just going to have to Google Simple Stories Digital and then type Handmade Holiday into their search bar. Because that sounds like some kind of YouTube issue. So, YouTube Google issue. Google's probably just mad that you don't have Chrome, so they're trying to force you to make you think you have to install it. You probably just copy the link and paste it into the browser that you like, and it would most likely work. It's probably just Google trying to trick you into getting Chrome. Because that's how Google is. Okay, guys. So we got our 2 bags made, so I'm going to put my bag template back with my little bags over here. So I'm keep my templates with all together. Now you're on an iPad Pro. Yeah, they probably do not like the fact that you're using Safari or whatever and not their stuff. Okay, so we've got to make 4 of the inserts, plus we've got two of the cards. After 3 tries, it will show in Safari. Wow. The YouTube app and Safari are not getting along at all. That's nuts. Well, Google probably considers Apple their mortal enemy, so I guess that's not all that surprising that they are trying to get you to use their stuff instead of their stuff. Okay, so let's use a December card. And let's use this little snowman. Okay, because we have the snowflake right here. Alright, so... Okay, those are there. So we've got our 2 cards. Now we just need pattern paper. I'm going to ink these and set them down. But, yeah, I'm going to, probably get a new version of Photoshop in the fall when Photoshop 2020 comes out. We'll see how I like it. I'm just using Elements now. I used to have full Photoshop back when I used... Well, I used to get Adobe Creative Cloud back when I used Premiere and Lightroom regularly as well. But I don't use Adobe Premiere anymore. They made some changes to it that made my workflow more complicated, and it was just really annoying. So I switched to Filmora, which is cheaper. It's a one-time license instead of an annual thing. So I use that for editing videos now, and Photoshop for anything like making thumbnails and stuff that I need. But All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna stick these to, these are 3x4 cards. We're gonna stick them to 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 mats. And then we're gonna put pattern paper on the back of the mats. So where the mats stick up, like here, how this sticks up, there's pattern paper. My desk is just so sticky. It's hard to get things off of it because of the humidity is not drying the glue that got on my desk earlier is what's the issue, I think. So what else is going on? We've got Christmas in August. We've got the party coming up. Like, you guys know about that. The mustard party, where we're only serving mustard. All right, I'm going to use this on the back. And I'm getting ready to start the Super Brag book. Is attendance mandatory for the mustard party? You guys do not have to come to the mustard party. You guys are excused. So since the mustard party's this weekend, I don't know if we'll be doing a Christmas in August this weekend. We didn't do one this weekend because Mr. Lifeguard and I stayed up till like 2 a.m. on Friday night. And because we're old now, that like wrecked us for the rest of the weekend and we couldn't do anything. We were like, what? We can't even move. I felt like someone beat me up. Like we just can't do it. We can't stay up late anymore. I guess now we know, you know. Oh, good. I put this on the wrong side. So what I'm going to do is, just so I don't have to redo it, is I'm going to move the snowman to the cheer side. And we'll use the December on the other side. So that solves that problem. This album has definitely been the, if you needed tips on how to fix things. Yeah, you guys, you guys are not invited to the party because you're all so picky. Sounds like Lexi could come and she's the only one. So. All right, so I need a different piece of pattern paper. I'm going to go ahead and use this one. I know I used to stay up later than that regularly, but now that I have changed my sleeping habits to become a morning person, which is something it took me, I think I decided in January or February I was going to do that. So it took me a while, but apparently I have succeeded because holy cow, that was just, no, I just can't do it. Can't do it. All right. Okay. So now we've got both cards done. All right. And what I may do is I may not do the inserts. We'll see how I feel. Well, I get, meh. Okay. All right, so now we need 2 pieces of pattern paper to cover we're having mustard in our dinner tonight because I'm making chicken with a tarragon cream sauce. And that tarragon cream sauce has mustard in it. And tarragon, which has a slight licorice flavor, which I'm sure would be horrifying to plenty of people. So a licorice mustard sauce. But I find tarragon's licorice shivers. I find tarragon's licorice flavor. Most people say it, but I don't feel it. To me, it doesn't taste overly licoricey, but you know, then again, I don't hate licorice. Okay, so 2 3/4 by 4.5 is what size we need to make the papers to line the paper bag. So I'm going to make one this green holly. And the other I'm going to make this okay. So chicken with tarragon cream sauce is great because it has no carbs. So if you're trying to watch your carbs, there's no added carbs in the dish itself. Although it does have heavy cream in it, so it's not exactly low fat. So it's a trade-off, I guess. But good, yeah, good for keto if you do keto. Mustard's great for keto because mustard is essentially calorie-free, and mustard has antibacterial properties, so it never goes bad. We like mustard so much. For those of you that hate mustard, I have a thing of Coleman's yellow mustard, the powder, this big. It's literally a giant, it's a gigantic can. It's this big. Because mustard's also an emulsifier, so I put mustard powder in tons of sauces. I put mustard powder in sauces with teriyaki because mustard will help you emulsify if you have acid and fat. It helps it all stay homogenized. So really, mustard's amazing. Mustard is amazing, guys. The people who hate mustard are just like, stop talking. Just stop. We thought we liked you, Kathryn. It's good in salad dressings. And you can make Chinese hot mustard with Coleman's Yellow. Coleman's Yellow is probably the best mustard to use to make Chinese hot mustard, and it's a chemical reaction, so that makes it hot. So you can just use regular Coleman's mustard powder to make, like, if you find that you can't buy Chinese hot mustard, that any Chinese hot mustard you buy you don't like, just Google how to use Coleman's to make Chinese hot mustard, and it's really makes a great hot mustard. And put that on stuff that has a lot of fat in it. Like we put it on pork fried rice. And it's just such a bright, intense flavor. It really cuts through anything with a lot of fat in it. I wish I could see everyone's faces. I have a feeling people are not making happy faces. It'll clear out your sinuses too. It has an added benefit of also opening up your sinuses. I don't like yellow mustard candy. I don't particularly like yellow mustard. I don't like hate it, you know, but it's not the one that I would choose to put on something if I had a choice of mustards. Like Mr. Lifeguard likes it on hot dogs and stuff, but like on a sausage type of thing, I would rather have rather than French's, I'd rather have something stone ground. I love horseradish. I love horseradish. And I love the mustards that have horseradish in them. I like Dijon because it's got a similar spiciness to it as horseradish does. You guys are probably just like... But yeah, I love horseradish. Wasabi, I can eat a ton of wasabi, no problem. Oh no, there's a kitty whisker on my desk. Kitty lost a whisker. It's hard to find horseradish mustard in Canada. Interesting. Whiskers are good luck. The other day I came downstairs and Kitty was staring at the floor. She just looked really bummed and she was staring at the floor. And I walked over to just see what she was looking at, and she was looking at one of her whiskers. And I was like, aw. I was like, are you mourning the loss of your whisker? All right. So I'm going to put my card on here. And I was careful to put my adhesive in such a way that it definitely won't poke out the top. And now I'm going to put the other card on here. See, that's why I put adhesive on the edge there, so that I know no adhesive is going to be sticking out the top and I don't have to measure. So I don't have to measure where to put my adhesive on this piece if I put my adhesive on this edge. All right. So there is this whole section done now. So that's nice. So that whole section's done. So now all we have to do is make 4 more inserts and we're good to go. So all right. And then we'll have actually made some forward progress on this book. Unlike all the other sessions where we had to like fix a bunch of stuff so that we didn't make any forward progress. Today we'll have added 4 more pages, 4 more numbers. And that'll bring us all the way through 8. Yeah, we'll be all the way through 8. So that makes us a third of the way through once I'm done with the with this stuff. So, you know, we're on our way. All right, so I'm going to do a 4.5 pinwheel. So meaning I put it at 4.5 and I cut up to 4.5. There was a lot of knowledge given to you guys today. Of course, there was useful knowledge like how to mix and match your pattern papers. And then there was less useful knowledge like the fact that people have hold your wee contests. So, you know, as usual, it's a mixed bag here at Kathryn Scraps. So but you also learned how to fix something. You did learn how to fix a bag that was put on upside down. You learned how to turn a bag upside down. So that's also useful knowledge. So yeah, a lot of useful knowledge happened today. In the book with all the mistakes. Which is what we shall call this. The book with all the mistakes. Ooh, the UPS man is there. Everyone's favorite man. Everyone's favorite man. I'm thinking about getting a new dining room table because we have, I kind of want a table that will comfortably seat 8 to 10 rather than the one I have right now is like a 4 to 6. And IKEA has an 8 to 10 and it's not bad looking. It's kind of farmhouse style. So I was thinking about getting it, but it's out of stock until the beginning of September, which I was like, you guys, what? That I was like, who screwed up there? Because that is a big delay. I mean, that is a big delay. All right, so that's it for the scoring. So we'll stick them all together and then we'll decorate them, and then that'll be it for today. Fran, I really think UPS has really come a long way over my life in terms of caring about your stuff, because they used to, like, people used to joke about UPS that it stood for oops, you know, but my UPS man, the last few places I've lived, has always been awesome. And I do not feel similarly about FedEx. And of course, the Amazon person drove over a cat. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I'm not impressed with the Amazon people in Tampa. The Amazon people in Northern Virginia were a lot better, but we lived right by a hub. The Dulles hub is a huge hub for Amazon. So I think maybe the, like, people who worked there were some of the better people. But I don't, like, I had when I first moved to Tampa, I had a lot of problems with Amazon. I got many months of Prime free because of all of their problems. Oh, he stole the cat. He didn't drive over it, he stole it. Well, I'm glad it's not dead, but oh my goodness, what the heck? Did they get the cat back? Did the driver get fired? Do we know? Was justice done? Move to Arizona. Barbara Jean is trying to get us all to move to Arizona, guys. I think she wants to start a commune, like a scrapbooking commune. All right, so we've got 4 of these done. Now we need to get 4 cards. Okay, so I've gone through and separated out the ones that can be made into horizontal, be made to work horizontally, and we'll put them in this. So let's just pick 4. So pick 1, 2, 3. Pick this one and pick one that's kind of plain and then find something to stick on it. Maybe I can pull something out of these cards. Yeah, some of these we can like cut down to 3x4s pretty easily. Oh, how cute is that? Yeah, a lot of stuff comes in this paper collection. It's very full of stuff because it has their snap cards. Okay. All right, that's a good start. So look how cute. We'll have to find a place to use that. Now, all right, so here's a 3x4 card now. And this is a 3x4 card now. And now this is a 3x4 card. So what I'm doing here is I'm just taking, you know, cards that were 6x4 and making them 4x3. Just by cutting them, you know, on this trimmer where I can see exactly where I'm cutting. Okay, so all right, now we've got 4 of those. So got 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to come through and pull these and put them where we think they might look cute. Okay. All right, so now we'll just stick everyone together. All right, so let's ink everything and then stick it all together, and then we'll have made progress. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that we're on the cusp of having made actual progress in this book. So the dinner party is this Saturday, and we're no longer having salmon. And the reason we were having salmon before is because one of the people coming was a pescatarian. However, that person is no longer coming, but that person apparently has been trying to get a dinner party club started. The pescatarian has, and there's a group of people that do monthly dinner parties, and people host, you know, maybe up to 3 times a year, no more than 3 times a year, depending on whether or not they can get enough people interested. So even though they can't come, we're going to still continue on and do it, see if we can like help them out with getting people interested in it. But we're saving the salmon thing for the next time we host, and that she will be there. So we're making chicken this time. So we're making chicken thighs with a sun-dried tomato and basil cream sauce. And we're making grilled, smashed mustard aioli potatoes. So you take baby potatoes, you boil them, you smash them, you brush them with mustard aioli, and then you grill them. And then the eggs in the aioli, they form a crust with the mustard. They make a mustard egg crust on the potatoes that makes them really crunchy and delicious, crispy and delicious on the outside, but soft and fluffy on the inside. And then for our asparagus, grilled asparagus, I'm gonna steam the asparagus, then quickly just blister it on the grill instead of trying to cook it on the grill, because that's a huge pain. And then we're gonna get a nice loaf of Italian bread, brush olive oil on it, grill it as well. So the whole dinner will have like a kind of grilled Italian outdoor kitchen vibe. And then for dessert, we're making blackberry peach cobbler, because my sister doesn't want to make the ricotta peach cake anymore. So we are going to make peach and blackberry cobbler because it's harder to mess up. She's a pescatarian, which is someone who eats meat, but only if it comes from fish. So they'd be like a vegetarian, except they eat fish. So it's a pescatarian. Pesca is Latin for fish. Yeah, so she will eat meat, but only if it comes from fish. Now, I asked my sister if she's one of those people where, like, if she sees meat, she cries, or if, you know, we could do alternate proteins and things like that. And she said she's fine with alternate proteins or whatever. So we won't have to make, if this whole dinner party club thing gets off the ground, not all the food would have to be pescatarian. So it could be like, you know, if you made like a strawberry, pineapple, poppy seed chicken salad, you just would leave the chicken separate, and she put chicken on everybody else's and then have like salmon for hers or shrimp for hers or whatever. Could be a way to do it. So, but we'll see how all of it goes, because maybe everyone gets together and they all hate each other and it turns out this was a terrible idea. So, all right. Raspberry pineapple cake sounds good. Hopefully, Ella. We're going to try to get everyone to play a board game after dinner. Because intern Liz and I are trying to hijack this supper party club idea to turn it into a board game club idea. To trick everyone into joining a board game club. You love board games? We love board games too. I have so many board games. So what we're going to have everyone play is a game called Concept. And we're not going to keep score so that everyone feels like they won. What's my favorite board game? That's tough. The game that I am most likely to take with me, like, or suggest we play if I'm playing with a new group of people, is probably Forbidden Island. Because I think Forbidden Island is a good gateway to more interesting board games. Like, if your experience with board games so far in your life has been, sorry, Monopoly, Clue, Scrabble, for example, and you don't know about the, like, say, European board games, if you don't know what a Euro board game is or whatever, or if you've never played a cooperative board game, for example, and you don't know how to, you've only played competitive board games, Forbidden Island is a really good one to teach people, because all of you guys are treasure hunters on an island that's sinking, and you have to collect all of the artifacts from the island before it sinks and then get off the island, and you sink together or you win together. So, you know, like, there's no point in fighting. I mean, there's just no point in not cooperating, because you won't win if you don't cooperate. A game we really, really love to play, we don't get to play very often, is called House on Haunted Hill, where you're all exploring a mansion together, but at one point in the game, one of you will get cursed, and then that person tries to kill everybody else. So you start out cooperating, and then a random person becomes the bad guy, and then you have to switch gears halfway through. That one's really fun. We really like that one, but you have, like, that's not one that people who are like new at board games, you can spring it on them. They really, I find people have a tough time with that one. Euro Rails. So, like, Ticket to Ride is a really good game that is, where you're all train barons, and you're trying to make routes across the United States during the Transcontinental Railroad, you know, period. That one is a German game, and it's you're making, like I said, you're all train barons. That one's really interesting too, because it's competitive, but you're not like, it's one of those things where you count up points at the end, so you don't feel competitive with each other too much. You know, where there is some active strategy where you can block people if you can try and figure, like, if you're really familiar with the game and you know what routes they're trying to make, you can block their routes. But you can also be wrong, because a lot of the routes have, you know, sections in common, and so that one, at the end, you can find out whether you win or lost based on points. But yeah, I really love playing the card game Gloom. That's a game where the point is to die as miserable as possible. So the first person, you play a family, and the first person who all their family members die wins. Well, not necessarily, they don't win. And then you have misery points, and whoever's the most miserable at the end wins. But what's interesting about Gloom is it's a storytelling game, so when you play these sort of misery-making cards on each other's characters, you tell a story about how the bad thing befell them, and you're all supposed to try and remember each other's stories and build on them, and so that gets really hilarious as you're going, you know, when people are like, you know, telling these crazy stories. And there's a ton of expansions for Gloom. So, but Gloom is really fun. That's probably my favorite game. Gloom is another one where everyone who's playing it has to be confident and creative. So you can't play it with people who are new to these types of games, because they find the storytelling aspect of it. They can find the storytelling aspect of it very, very, like, that can be stressful for a lot of people, or anxiety inducing for a lot of people. So Gloom is one that I would play with people who've already played some other board games with me. But the game we're going to have them play is Concept, and Concept is kind of like board game charades, where you're trying to get people to guess something by showing them pictures. So you're trying to get them to guess a concept by showing them pictures. So infamously, in my family, we played this, and the people in my family were unable to guess, and I'll see if you guys can guess it. You guys see if you're smarter than the people in my family. I had shown them the pictures for, it's a book, it's a literary book of historical fiction about war and the opposite of war. Those are the things I showed them. So I showed them the picture for all of those things, and they kept saying over and over again, it's a book, it's a historical book about war and the opposite of war. And they just kept saying that over and over and over again. And I just wanted to strangle them. Like, I was like, I don't know how much more obvious I can make this. Thank you, Lexi. War and Peace, of course, is what it is. But that one is infamous in my family. For me just sitting there and them being like, are there any other clues? And it's like, no, there are no other clues. It's one of the most famous books ever written. And it's about war and the opposite of war. Like, you morons! I mean, and they just kept sitting there like, it's a book about war and the opposite of war. War and the opposite of war. And I was like, what? I was just staring at them, just like flabbergasted. Just flabbergasted. Like, at no point were they like, maybe we should breathe. It's called Concept. Yes, Jean. I recommend Concept a lot, especially if you're like, I might want to play and some more interesting board games, you know. In Concept, you can keep points, but we found that people are a lot more comfortable when you don't, and people have more fun when you don't. So what we do is we just, you know, one person gives the clues, and then everyone else guesses, you know, and then we just have fun with it. But yeah, war and the opposite of war is that one's infamous in our family. To this day, anytime the War and Peace card comes up while we're playing Concept, people always do War and Peace. I don't even know what else is on the card. People always do War and Peace, and they always do. It's a literary book, historical fiction about war and the opposite of war every time. And it's just like, But the other two really bad ones were, one, my sister did, she got us to guess, she got us to guess Young Underground Science Turtles. It was a TV show and a movie. Young Underground Science Turtles, and we could not pull that one out. And I don't know how she could have done better. Like, I don't know what else she could have done to make us get it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know how much better she could have done than Young Underground Science Turtles TV movie. I mean, honestly, that's pretty amazing that she got us to guess that. But we never could get from Young Underground Science Turtles to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So sometimes it just happens. Although I maintain that that one's not as embarrassing for those of us who failed as War and Peace was. And then the other one that was weird was I had to get people to guess Hannibal Lecter. And so I said it was a book and a movie about someone who cooks. And then I also did the like symbol for evil murder cook. It was like an evil murder cook book movie. And my sister would not stop guessing Julia Child. And I was just like, what are you like, first of all, you don't need to guess things more than once, you know, like, but secondly, why do you think Julia Child is like a murder chef? Like, what did Julia Child ever do to you, Liz? So really funny stuff. It's called Concept. If you like charades, you'll like Concept. It's way easier than charades. You can all sit around the table. Martha Stewart would have been a better guess. You're right, Melanie. Okay, so this one I can't put that all the way in, so I think I'm going to have to maybe... But yeah, my sister, like, I don't know. She has something against Martha Stewart, guys. Okay. I just had to open that one up a little bit. That's the one that I glued together, so I just had to open it up a little bit with a thin ruler. All right, so guys, now I can finally show you what this will look like in terms of, you know, how it'll come together. So when it's all together, they're going to lay on top of each other like this, so that when we open them, you know, it's like this, then like this, then like this, then like this, then like this. All right. So we have, they say Julia Child was in the CIA. Maybe she murdered, maybe she did murder someone. Oh my gosh, maybe that was it. Maybe that was it. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, you guys. We finally made some progress in this book. I'm going to keep working on it here and there. There's no set schedule. Again, this is just very casual, but we'll keep working on it here and there, and we'll get it done before December. That's for sure. So we'll definitely get it done before December, so we can all use it to make for our Christmas stuff. But yeah, here's the book. It's coming along, and now you know all the pieces and parts for the album. See how it's gonna, how it'll be. Oop. Yeah. Now you know how it's all gonna look from the top. So, yep. All right, guys, I'll see you on Thursday at 2 p.m. and we're gonna hopefully finish the Flutter and Bloom version of Half the Fun, as well as start Split Decision. Remember, we have classes every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern USA time and 9 p.m. Eastern USA time. If you want to find out what time that is where you live, there's a time zone converter in the video description of this class. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Until then, stay hydrated, glitter goddesses.